follow no child molester, sex offender, prophet pretender. Ain't gonna follow no child molester. Islam's not for me.
Hey, Muhammad. On our last adventure, I have to admit, I was a little shocked to learn that you only take one bath after having sex with all 9 of your wives.
You can read all about my sexcapades in Sahih al-Bukhari, 52:15.
Narrated Anas bin Malik, the Prophet used to pass by, have sexual relation with all his wives in one night, and at that time he had 9 wives.
I wish you would take a bath after each round at least. I'm always wife number 9.
I thought Islam was supposed to teach great hygiene.
Shake it off, my little snuggle buddy. That is just one example of great hygiene in Islam. I didn't used to take a bath at all before I followed Allah. But seeing as you've brought this up, today I am going to teach you all about hygiene in Islam. To start with, in Islam we perform ablutions.
What is an ablution, Muhammad?
An ablution is an act of washing oneself. In order to perform one, though, you'll need to find some water, which can be difficult out here in the desert. Luckily, some of my followers know the perfect place.
Sunan Abu Dawud 66, narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. The people asked the Messenger of Allah, "Can we perform ablution out of the well of Budaa, which is a well into which menstrual cloths, dead dogs, and stinking things were thrown?" He replied, "Water is pure and is not defiled by anything."
That's right. Nothing can defile water, and besides, when used menstrual cloth, dead dogs and other stinking things have been soaking in it. This increases the benefits to the skin. But let's not get into that now. Come with me. There is more to learn. So shake it off as well as keeping your body clean. It is also important to keep your clothes clean. Being a man, you would understand the constant struggles of having semen all over your clothes.
I mean, look, Muhammad, I can't say I've faced this problem before.
Well, trust me, with your 4 wives and unlimited number of sex slaves, you soon will. Luckily, we have women in our lives to help us. Little Aisha here has been a big help over the years.
I used to wash the semen off the clothes of the Prophet, and even then, I used to notice 1 or more spots on them.
Sahih al-Bukhari 230, narrated Sulaiman bin Yasar. I asked Aisha about the clothes soiled with semen. She replied, "I used to wash it off the clothes of Allah's Messenger, and he would go for the salat, prayer, while water spots were still visible."
That's right. Unfortunately, when he wasn't giving me the nasty, I was having to scrape the semen off his clothes.
Now, Aisha, we all know you enjoy both of those things. Anyway, some of my modern-day followers seem embarrassed by this.
I couldn't possibly imagine why.
And try to say it was just a rare occurrence.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I was not planning to make another David Wood video so soon, but he called me out by name, requested that I make a video response to one of his videos.
The number 1 most disgusting fact about Muhammad was constantly covered in semen. Muslims of the world, why was your prophet always covered in semen?
Always? Why always? Since Aisha says Rubbama, suggesting that this was a rare occurrence.
But this was something that occurred often, and there are many reports of this.
Yeah, Farid, and you weren't the one having to scrape all this semen off.
Muhammad, I have to ask, where was all this semen coming from, and why was it often all over your clothes?
That's not important. Just know it has nothing to do with my good friend, Dihya al-Kalbi, that handsome devil. My wives used to think he would frequent my residence, but it was actually the Angel Jibril. They just look very similar. Anyway, let's get back to learning about hygiene practices in Islam. I think you already learned about how to hygienically deal with a fly in your tea when you were studying the other day, so we'll skip past that.
Sahih al-Bukhari 33:20, Narrated Abu Huraira, the Prophet said, "If a housefly falls in the drink of any one of you, he should dip it in the drink, for one of its wings has a disease and the other has the cure for the disease."
Just to prove that I believe in everything that the Prophet had said, alayhi salatu wasalam, I would dip it and throw the fly and drink it.
We are now going to learn about the best way to get food off your fingers after a meal. Mutual finger licking.
Finger licking?
Yes, finger licking. But not just the licking of your own fingers. Also licking the fingers of others. Why don't you read me out a few hadith, Sheikh Itoff?
Sahih Muslim 5294. Chapter 18. It is recommended to lick one's fingers and wipe the bowl and to eat a piece of food that is dropped after removing any dirt on it. It is disliked to wipe one's hand before licking it because of the possibility that the blessing of the food may be in that remaining part. The sunnah is to eat with 3 fingers. It was narrated that Ibn Abbas said, "The Messenger of Allah said, when one of you eats some food, let him not wipe his hand until he has licked it or had it licked." Sahih Muslim 5303. It was narrated that Jabir said, "I heard the Prophet say, the shaitan is present with any one of you in all his affairs, and he is even present with him when he eats. If one of you drops a morsel, let him remove any dirt on it, then eat it, and not leave it for the shaitan, and when he has finished, let him lick his fingers, for he does not know in which part of his food the blessing is."
That's right. Allah hides a blessing in your food, but you don't know where that blessing is, so you should lick your fingers. If you are feeling generous, you can let someone else lick your fingers to give them a chance at the blessing.
How hygienic.
Now, although Islam teaches great hygiene practices, somehow my followers still manage to get sick, quite frequently actually.
I couldn't possibly imagine why.
But fear not, I have a solution for that.
What's the solution, Muhammad?
Shake it off. I can't give you all the answers. You need to do some learning for yourself. How about you go and read Sahih al-Bukhari 5686 and then come back to me for a recap of what you have learned today.
Sahih al-Bukhari 5686. Narrated Anas, the climate of Al-Madinah did not suit some people, so the Prophet ordered them to proceed along with his shepherd, i.e. his camels, and drink their milk and urine as a medicine. So they proceeded along with the shepherd and the camels, and drank their milk and urine till their bodies became healthy. Then they killed the shepherd and drove away the camels. When the news reached the Prophet, he sent some people in their pursuit. When they were brought, he cut their hands and feet, and their eyes were branded with heated pieces of iron.
Regarding the urine of camels, this is an issue that when people don't have proper knowledge in the Quran and the Sunnah, they may be shocked when they hear it. In the Sunnah, there is a hadith in the Bukhari and others. So it is the highest of authenticity, no doubt about it. So as a means of treatment and healing, the Prophet ﷺ ordered them to go outside Medina skirts, the skirts of Medina, where the camels, the herd of camels of charity, of zakat, are in a sanctuary. No one comes in to kill or to hunt or to whatever. This is known for charity. And the Prophet ﷺ ordered them to drink from the milk and the urine of camels. This is the teaching of the Prophet ﷺ for healing their illness. And the hadith is authentic. So now people, when they hear this, they're shocked. And they say, no, ahadith are not authentic. This is disgusting. This is not logical. Muslims believe This is their conviction. You like it, you don't like it, you're disgusted by it. Who cares? I believe in whatever the Prophet said, as long as the hadith is authentic.
Okay, Sheikh Itoff, time for you to tell me what you have learned about hygiene in Islam today.
Okay, Muhammad. So I've learned that in Islam we perform acts of washing called ablutions. To perform one, I can use water from wells filled with menstrual clothes, dead dogs, and stinking things, because water is pure and cannot be defiled. I've learnt that if I get semen all over my clothes, which seems to happen to you quite often, I should get my wife, or in your case, child bride, to wash it off for me, and I can pray if there are wet spots still visible. I've learnt that I should lick on and let others lick my fingers. There is a blessing from Allah hidden in the food I eat. I need to make sure I get the blessing, or if I'm feeling generous, give it to someone else. If a fly falls in my tea, I should dip it as one wing has a disease and the other the cure. And finally, that if I do, somehow, I have no idea how I could, after following these hygiene practices, manage to get sick, I should pour myself a tall glass of camel urine to cure my illness. Oh, and that there is definitely not anything suspicious going on with you, and Dihya al-Kalbi given you only like women and prepubescent little girls.
You need to speak up, Sheikh Itoff. I didn't quite catch that last part again. But well done. You are really beginning to impress me.
Anybody that believes all of this is hygienic is clinically insane. I mean, Muhammad, I'm actually feeling a little nauseous. Does your camel need to urinate by any chance? I could really use a drink.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, hit that subscribe button, and push the bell for notifications.
Prophet pretender ain't gonna follow no child molester.
Islam's not for me. Islam's not for me.
Islam's